Hi all. Today we have an opinion piece by Alex McFarland called 10 Reasons Millennials Are Backing Away from God and Christianity. I found it while browsing the Friendly Atheist site and thought the article was pretty interesting. I hope you do too. Let's jump on in. 10 Reasons Millennials Are Backing Away from God and Christianity. College-age millennials today are far more likely than the general population to be religiously unaffiliated. This is true when they are compared to previous generations as well. In fact, the Pew Research Center documents that millennials are the least outwardly religious American generation, where 1 in 4 are unaffiliated with any religion, far more than the share of older adults when they were ages 18 to 29. Just over 60% of millennials say that Christianity is judgmental, and 64% say that anti-gay best describes most churches today. I wonder if Alex is going to include these reasons when he gives us 10 reasons why millennials are moving away from religion. In ministry circles, it has long been reported that of youth raised in homes that were to some degree Christian, roughly 3/4 will jettison that faith after high school. Just under half of this number will return to some level of church involvement in their late 20s or early 30s. First, how do you know this, Alex? What makes you think that just under half will return to church involvement? I'm not saying that's impossible, but I don't see a link to a study that would affirm the statistic, and I don't know what you mean by ministry circles. Do you mean your Christian friends and acquaintances will think this will happen? Or maybe they're hoping and praying for those people to come back to the church? Because that's what it sounds like to me when you say ministry circles. Why is this, our most recent research, which includes dozens of interviews with teens, 20-somethings, professed ex-Christian, and religion and culture experts, points to factors like these? Wait... Dozens? You couldn't have been any more imprecise, right? That doesn't sound like a very large sample size, and where is this research so that I can have a look at it myself? I don't see any links to this research in your article or anywhere else for that matter. And what do you mean by dozens? Can you be a little more specific? Is it 2 dozen, 3 dozen, or more? Dozens. The least you could do, since you don't seem willing to show us your research, is tell us how many people participated in this research project. Number 1. Mindsets of digital natives is very much separate from other generations. Millennials are eclectic on all fronts, economically, spiritually, artistically. There's little or no brand loyalty in most areas of life. Why should anyone stay loyal to an ideology that they feel has done them a disservice? Why would you even want people to stay with your church out of some sort of misplaced brand loyalty anyways? I thought the church would want people who actually believe in Jesus, rather than people who just stick around out of brand loyalty. You quoted in your opening of this article that a large percentage of millennials feel as though Christianity is judgmental and anti-gay. Now ask yourself, if that's their perception of Christianity, why would they stay loyal to a brand that they believe is out of touch with their values? They're likely not going to, and I don't blame them one bit. Loyalty is earned. People don't owe you their loyalty, and many religious institutions have done little, if anything, to earn that loyalty. In fact, some of them, I'm looking at you, Catholic Church, have done everything in their power to betray the loyalty of their parishioners. Number 2, breakdown of the family. It has long been recognized that experience with an earthly father deeply informs a perspective about the heavenly Father. In How the West Really Lost God, sociologist Mary Eberstad correctly asserts the fortunes of a religion rise or fall with the state of the family. What has this got to do with Christianity? I was raised by a religious father and mother. I'm still an atheist. My girlfriend is an atheist, and she grew up with 2 religious parents as well. I know these are anecdotal examples, but people become atheists for many reasons. You first have to demonstrate to some people that there is a heavenly Father before they'll believe you. Second, as far as I can tell from studies, atheists are actually less likely to divorce than conservative Christians. Also, some of the highest divorce rates are found in the Bible Belt, in places like Tennessee and Alabama. So, you might want to rethink this point, Alex. It doesn't seem to hold up to scrutiny. Number 3, militant secularism. Embraced by media and enforced in schools, secular education approaches learning through the lens of methodological naturalism. It is presupposed that all faith claims are merely expressions of subjective preference. The only true truths are claims that are divorced from any supernatural context and impose no moral obligations on human behavior. People today are subjected to an enforced secularism. I'm not sure what you mean by militant secularism. Are secularists blowing things up or killing people who disagree with secularism? Public schools that are funded by taxpayers should teach facts. Churches teach religion. There's no need to mix the two or try to indoctrinate people of no faith, or even people of different faiths, with your particular brand of religion. And yes, they're divorced from any supernatural context, because you've yet to demonstrate that the supernatural exists. Why don't we just hook each child up with a Ouija board? Who needs human teachers when they can be educated by their supernatural instructors? Plus, it's a lot cheaper to recruit spirit guides than it is to hire actual flesh and blood teachers. And where do you get the idea that there are no moral obligations? We're all obligated to follow the law, and atheist parents still teach their children right from wrong. Number 4. Lack of spiritual authenticity among adults. Many youth have had no or very limited exposure to adult role models who know what they believe, why they believe it, and are committed to consistently living it out. Role models are important, and although he's not saying celebrities here, but instead likely means people of faith, I never understood why we as a society think celebrities make for good role models. But I digress. I think our parents are the most important role models, and whether or not they believe in a religion has nothing to do with knowing what they believe. I know what I believe, I try to be consistent and live out those beliefs, and there are likely millions of other people who do the same. You can be a good role model and consistently live by your values, no matter whether you're a Christian, an atheist, a humanist, or anything in between. I don't know why Alex would think that there are less role models now than there was in the past. Number 5. The church's cultural influence has diminished. The little neighborhood church is often assumed to be irrelevant, and there is no cultural guilt anymore for those who abandon involvement. Well, good. You shouldn't be guilted into supporting an organization or set of beliefs that you don't agree with or believe in. If the church is assumed to be irrelevant, maybe there is a good reason for that. Maybe the church in question should engage in some self-reflection. Number 6. Pervasive cultural abandonment of morality. The idea of objective moral truth, ethical norms that really are binding on all people, which don't exist, is unknown to most and is rejected by the rest. I think this is an interesting point. I've seen a number of videos talking about the abandonment of moral values and how this might coincide with the weakening of religious fervor. I don't buy it, because if you look at the most religious states, you'll find they also tend to have higher crime rates. Many still use the death penalty and so forth. I do find it an interesting subject though, and one I intend to explore in future videos. Number 7. Intellectual skepticism. College students are encouraged to accept platitudes like life is about asking questions, not about dogmatic answers. Damn them for teaching them to ask questions. Ugh. Is that the answer? That there are no answers? Claiming to have answers is viewed as impolite. On life's ultimate questions, it is more socially acceptable to suspend judgment. Personally, I think asking questions, skepticism, and critical thinking are skills we should be promoting. It's not about not having any answers. It's about being able to change your opinion if you're presented with facts that clearly show your opinion is wrong, which is something religion often struggles with. Number 8. The rise of a fad called atheism. Full of self-congratulatory swagger and blasphemous bravado, pop-level atheists such as the late Christopher Hitchens, whom I interviewed twice, made it cool to be a non-believer. Many millennials, though mostly 20-something Caucasian males, are enamored by books and blogs run by God-hating thinkers. Or it could be that they have better arguments than you do. Maybe their message resonates with those who hear it and yours doesn't. Instead of whining about how it's a fad, why not try and figure out what you're doing wrong? I don't think it has so much to do with being cool, but that their arguments put yours to shame. Number 9. Our new God, tolerance be thy name. Tolerance today essentially means, because my truth is, well, my truth, no one may ever question any behavior or belief I hold. This standard has become so ingrained that it is now impossible to rationally critique any belief or behavior without a backlash of criticism. I think the author might have a point here. I think it has become increasingly difficult to have political or social discussions without being slapped with a negative label. I wish this wasn't the case, and I hope that open, honest discussion becomes more the norm than the exception as time moves forward. Number 10. The commonly defiant posture of young adulthood. As we leave adolescence and morph into adulthood, we all can be susceptible to an inflated sense of our own intelligence and giftedness. During the late teens and early 20s, many young people feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I did. The cultural trend toward a rejection of God and other loci of authority resonates strongly with the desire for autonomy felt in young adulthood. I'm not so sure that as millennials age, that they'll return to the church. Is it really just a fad, or are millennials faced with a reality where the church doesn't represent their values and often preaches against the very principles they hold dear? I guess time will tell. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Take care and cheers.